down this problem. It's 24 divided by 48, which kind of looks backwards, doesn't it? But that's what it is. Okay, so before I even start, I'm noticing I can't divide 48 into 24, so I've got to make 24 a bigger number. How would I do that? Add a 0. So did you notice I wrote 2 decimals?
Yeah.
Okay, now I need to put another 0 somewhere. Does anyone remember from yesterday? Above the 4. Very good. Above the 4. So we're looking at 240 tenths. What should I round 48 to?
50.
Okay, so since I rounded it up, do you think a 5 is going to work?
Yeah.
Let's try it. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so my answer to this problem is going to be 5 tenths, right? Now, why do you think I showed you how to do that problem?
So if we have a problem like that,
Well, how's that problem different than we're used to?
the divisor.
The divisor is way larger, and we have to add a 0 before we ever start. So I don't know if that's going to happen on any of these others, but be prepared for that, okay? Now, F, I want you to put a star beside. It's like B on your exit ticket. Hudson, did you have a question? Right, I think that sometimes, like in block 1, someone said, oh, I can do that in my head. The answer's 2.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But that was us flipping the problem around in our minds, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, so let's look at this one. 15.6 divided by 15. You've got one on your exit ticket similar to this with place value on top. So that's why I want to talk about this one. See if I can move it down a little bit. Okay, so this problem right here looks to me like I can skip count by a number. 15, so I'm not going to have to guess and check unless I want to double check my skip counting, right? I'm going to stop at 90. Now this is very important. Don't go ahead of me. So I notice that I can chunk it where?
15.
At 15. So the first digit I write is going to be above the 5. So 15 times 1. And that's 0. So I can bring down my 6. Now I'm wondering if I should erase that 0. I think so. Okay? So this, boys and girls, we have a problem. And I don't want anyone to shout it out, okay? Because I want everyone to think. But I've already brought a number down and it's too small to divide into. Now I've got a couple choices when my number's too small to divide into. We started out putting an X there, didn't we?
Yeah.
But we've kind of stopped that. We've kind of switched that X to a what? 0. So if I bring down a number and it's too small to divide, and I'm going to show you what happens on Zern. We don't do this in class, but they write a 0 on the top, a 0 on the bottom, and then they subtract. We have a little bit simpler way of doing it. Do you remember what we do? Well, we're going to have to add a 0 and then drop it down. Oh, I could have stopped at 60.
I knew it. I know the answer. I knew it.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract.
I knew it.
Okay, I'm recording. All right, so here's the deal, boys and girls. On B for your exit ticket, look, You're probably going to have a 0 at the top at some point, okay? So be ready for that, and don't forget to look back at F, okay? Now let's look at I. I want to do I. I is pretty tricky, but maybe not. So we've got 2.8 divided by 16. And it looks to me like I'm going to have to think of 28 tenths. You guys agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to move that down a little bit. All right, what should I skip count by? I'm going to do 20s, but you for sure can use your 15s if you'd rather. Okay? So, since I have to look at 28 tenths, that's sort of like I'm chunking it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So do you remember what I told you yesterday? If you write your line past the decimal, what digit do you need to automatically put at the top?
0.
In front of the decimal. Right. Okay, so looks to me like I'm only going to be able to put this in once. You agree?
Yep.
Okay, so over here, if writing 1 times 16 would keep you from forgetting something, then go ahead and write it. I got 12 for a remainder. But we're not going to have a remainder. We're going to make everything a perfect problem. So what's my next step?
Add a 0.
Drop the 0 down. That gives me 120. So I can go farther here and try a 6, but I don't know if a 6 is large enough.
Want to try a 7?
So, sure. You think 112 is going to work? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did 12.
Okay, now on this one I can look at the big picture. I can look at 20 minus 12, or I can regroup and make this 10 minus 2. I still have a remainder. So now what do I do?
Add another. There's
Good. Now I think we're going to find it one that matches perfectly.
5.
You think 5? The 6 times 5 ends with a 0, doesn't it?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. So here's what I want to tell you about this one. This one is similar to A on your exit ticket. And what place value did we carry it out to? The thousands. So A on your exit ticket, you will also carry out to the thousands. Okay? So what I'm going to have you do now is for about 15 minutes, I'm going to have you work with a partner on the other problem.